Today we're going to talk about website builders. Website builders are a place where a business can go and they can buy their own website subscription. Within a modest amount of time, they're told that they can go in, create a professional looking website, do it by themselves, avoid all the upfront cost, manage it, and just pay a few bucks a month, be off to the races. Now, typically, it gets even sweeter than that because you can start off with a 30-day free trial. And so you can even load all your content and try it out before you ever spend a dime. So, what's wrong with this? Or is there anything wrong with it? I'm going to contend that there's a lot of things wrong with website builder programs. And I'd like to start with an analogy. I have zero plumbing experience. Couldn't do anything if I had to. But I could go down to the hardware store. I could buy all the plumbing equipment that I want. I could come back and I could try to do my own plumbing. Now, I'm probably not going to do a very good job, would be my guess. So I'm going to try. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to try. I'm going to mess up. And then I'm going to try, and then I'm going to mess up. And I've got the exact same tools as the professional. The problem is I don't have the training. I mean, I know what I want it to look like. I know what I want it to do, but I really can't get there. Now, in the world of website development, it gets more complicated than the plumbing analogy because to the average person, when they jump onto a system like this, they see categories of templates. They can pick that template, and then once they pick it, then they can start building their own stuff, adding their own text, and doing their own whatever they want to do to their website. But here's the problem. You're not trying to appeal to your personal taste. You need professional experience to help you create a website that speaks to your target demographic. And there are so many nuances when you develop a website. Typically, when you do a website, you start off with the goals. What are you trying to achieve? And then you build everything to it. And the fonts, the colors, the layout, the funneling process, the graphics, everything that you could imagine goes into it. Even the architecture. How do you name the pages? What kind of tags do you put behind the scenes, known as title tags and meta descriptions and all this other stuff? And what pages are going to try to get people to move forward? And what type of call to actions are you going to put on those pages? And you can't put too much because it gets confusing for a visitor, but you can't put too little because then that makes you look like you're not reputable. So you've got all these weird challenges that you have to do in web development. And, I've been doing this now for 2 decades. Well, marketing and advertising, not web development specifically. But, in doing all this web development, the one thing that I find out is that you learn over time what you need to do, and then you adapt, and then you adjust, and then you make all these, and you have to research, your competitors, and there's all these factors involved. So when someone tells me that they're going to pick a template and they're going to use that template to build their website, that's a huge flag, a huge flag. Now, there are other problems too, because I believe, I've never met one, but I believe there are actual web developers that prefer to develop on these website builder platforms. And at a glance, you would think, well, that would be the perfect combination. I got the ease of use of this program, but then I can bring in a professional to kind of guide me along the way. But most professionals that I talk to, they don't like to use website builders for a very fundamental reason. There are tons of bottlenecks. At some point, your business is going to need some type of customization, basically. And you may think, well, out of the gate, I don't need that customization. True, But if you start putting all your eggs in these website builders basket and you start fine tuning it and then you hit your bottleneck, you've got a brand new problem. That problem is you've got to get that content moved out and put into something else, and that's a substantial amount of overhead. We've quoted projects where we don't do them because basically it's not the cost of what we're doing, it's the cost of moving hundreds and hundreds of pages and reformatting them or putting them into a different system and getting everything lined up, and then the customer just can't afford to do it. And so we often just have to turn down those projects. Why, if they would have started off on a more stable platform that allowed more flexibility, they would have never had the issue to begin with. They would have already kind of, played this chess game of web development and essentially beat it. So when I hear a professional developer is using one of these website builder programs, I can't help but to wonder, what are they thinking? Where's the mindset other than the idea of just doing something rapid so they can make a few bucks and then move on to the next project? And that is absolutely the opposite of what we try to do within our organization. We believe that it's a relationship. We believe that, there are some clients out there that understand the value of having certified design expertise and certified marketing expertise to help guide their business. And of course, there are some who just want to have a website and then they're going to do it. Now, this is prevalent because if you were to go through and look at some of these builders, they tout millions of people. I know one of them, I saw 1 million on one the other day. And they had John Malkovich, I think's the actor, and they apparently paid him to do an advertisement. And this company also had a Super Bowl ad. Now, if you Google how much a Super Bowl ad cost, you can tell that, they're doing all right. But here's the question. How many out of that 1 million customers they've got can afford to hire John Malkovich or any other actor and can afford to put up an ad on the Super Bowl? The answer is very modest, if at all. And the reason that is the model of the website builder program is not to build a model that helps all these 1 million businesses succeed. What they're doing is they're building a program that makes it easy for them to get into a system that doesn't cost a lot of money, and their goal is to make money for themselves and not help you reach your level of success, because they can't. The overhead in web development and a successful web campaign is the experience and the time it takes to actually build that out. And those are overhead, monsters to these businesses. And so their model is simple. They want to put the tools in your hands. They want you to pay them their 30, 40, 60, 80 bucks a month, whatever they charge, and they put that in your hands. That's your responsibility. And unfortunately, that's where the war is won, and that's where the war is lost. And so they're making the big bucks by targeting people who don't want to spend a lot of money up front, want something cheap, and has the mentality of, well, when I grow, when I develop, then I'm going to go in and get a more professional website. And so, just like, I don't know if you ever read the story of Brer Rabbit, but it's about this rabbit and he gets all tangled up in his tar. He gets in his fight with this tar baby and he hits it, and then, he gets stuck and he hits his other hand and he gets his leg, and pretty soon he's just all wrapped up in this thing. And it's the same thing with these website builders. You take your 30-day free trial, you start putting in a bunch of content, you put in 20 pages, 30 pages, you put in all this effort of trying to learn things, you try to make things work as good as you can, but by the time you're done, you're so wrapped up in this thing, it's going to be hard to get out. So when we take a goal-centric approach, there's really not a realistic reason to have a website builder. And this doesn't matter if you're building a brochure style website. It doesn't matter if you're building a full-blown e-commerce website. It just doesn't make sense. Because the other thing is, if you're building a brochure style website, you still have to speak to your target demographic. If you're dealing with an older demographic, the colors you use, the font sizes that you use, the fonts that you choose. It's all very, very important. And how you do it with even within your region. So for example, if you were to compare what an electrician in New York is doing on their website versus an electrician within your own region, you're going to see that there's differences. And that's because they're trying to speak to different people with different expectations. And then if you try to choose, okay, I'm going to choose, Bob's electrician who's 4 miles down the road, and I want to make it close to him, you're even making an assumption at that point that Bob has done his due diligence and he's doing a good job, because Bob may not be doing a good job. And so you've got to really understand in how to gauge all these metrics, and only a professional can get you to that point. So as you can see, the house of cards on these website builders starts to fall. I admit, when I jumped on one of them, I was looking at the templates, and there were some that were attractive. There were some that I thought was really nice, but the problem is that they just can't let you make the little tweaks that you want to make. At a surface, they look really good, but once you start to dig down, you find out, well, I really can't make this exactly like I want it to, or why doesn't this do that, or why can't I make this happen this way? And it's just because what they're trying to do is, again, they're trying to get the low-hanging fruit, the person that just kind of wants to throw something out there and has this expectation that it's going to work. Now, website builders, it gets a little deeper. Now, when these things first started coming out, I don't know what year it was off the top of my head, but when they did, one of the more popular ones at the time, they had 3 steps in their advertisement. Step 1 was to buy their product. Step 2, add their content. Step 3, get found. So essentially, this company that was selling website builder programs said you can conquer the web in 3 steps. Now, it's real easy to know that it's not that easy. The first thing is, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. The large companies, the small companies, nobody wants to spend more money than they have to. And so if it's that easy and they had that figured out to that point, well, everybody should be on board with it. The second reason it doesn't work is there's only so many winners in web development. You can't have 1 million electricians on the top page of Google when you've only got 10 spots. You can't have 100 on the top page of Google when you've only got 10 spots. And so, not including the other smaller areas, but the gist of it is you have a limited number of positions. So that's another telltale sign. But as you dig deeper into it, what you find out is it's never easy as 1, 2, 3. The first thing is you're making the assumption that you're going to build the website correctly and it's going to speak to your demographic. And then the last assumption that you make is you may think it's a natural listing, but what this company was talking about was paid advertising. So once you've built this website, then you're going to have to start investing some money in AdWords or Bing ads, and then you're going to have to track the metrics, fine-tune those ads over a period of time, and you just don't jump into this thing and just start making money overnight. That's the reality of it. You need a professional to help you make those hurdles and make those jumps so that you can succeed on the web. Now, today's website builder programs, sure, I see a lot of bait and switch. If they talk about one thing, it means another thing. They say you can do this. When they say need a professional website, why not build this amazing, gorgeous, awesome website all by yourself? It doesn't happen that way. Just as a plumber, I would fail because I wouldn't know exactly what to do. People who don't have experience in marketing and advertising, they don't know where to put the call to actions. They don't know how to say things, and so they make their problems, or they make their errors as well. And a chat for 5 minutes with a guy on how to do something, or a phone call with a entry-level person who's trying to walk you through, because you're not going to get a top-tier person if they have over 1 million clients. You're not. They can't afford the overhead, or maybe they can, but but they certainly don't do it. So this is where you're at. You're at the crossroads. At the end of the day, if your website's a poor website, the good news is you don't have to worry about it because no one will ever see it anyway. That's the cold, hard reality to this thing. If you build one that does get visibility, then you've got to have, it's not just a matter of getting them to the website, but getting them to convert to the website. More people will see your website than your customer service people, than the people that look at your building. If it's done correctly, you will be judged by this site. Either it's going to relate to your target market within your geographic outreach, or it will not. It's that simple. But there's a lot of complexity to make those hurdles achievable. So my recommendation is, if you're a business and you're serious about being a business, then be serious about your marketing. Be serious about your internet marketing. Don't go try to do something halfway and then make the common mistake of, well, if it starts to grow, then I'm going to spend more money. If you're not that serious about your business, then don't be in business. That's the cold, hard reality. If you're going to go for it, then go for it. Put in your best effort. You need to collaborate with the professional. You need to be able to say, this is not what my business is, and at the same time be able to handshake with the professional and help guide this process. That's a mutual collaborative effort. That's how we approach it. And that requires real conversations. You can't sit down there and just, feed fluff or have somebody just tell you what you want to hear, and the developer just can't feed you that. They have to be that voice of, this isn't going to work in my opinion. And this is the fundamental ingredient to success. So I hope this helps you out. Please be sure to check out my book at overthebull.com. It's a small 50-page book and more of a booklet than anything, a survival guide, if you will. Costs less than, I think, $5 total. That should help you out, and it's designed to kind of give you a real-world look at the web and the internet. Also, feel free to check out our samples at maxwebgear.com. That's MAXWEBGEAR. Or give us a phone call, 800-785-0403. Again, that's 800-785-0403. And talk to us about your project. We are 100% U.S. owned and operated, and our operating hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Thanks so much.